Good afternoon. My name is Brian Makris. I'm here with Home Choice Lending, and today we've got another Grit Matters presentation. We have a very special guest with us today. This particular guest, I don't think I've closed more real estate transactions with any other agent in the state of New Hampshire in my entire career. And every single challenge that we've come across, we'll talk about them and how we overcome them. But today I'm really excited to welcome Rachael Bohac from RachNH Team, and she's part of Keller Williams Metropolitan, based here in Bedford, New Hampshire, and she is licensed in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. And I want to thank you for coming on today's show.
Thank you, and thank you for the warm welcome. But I will throw some kudos back to you because we send all our business your way because our vendors should never be our headaches, right? And so I never get to the end of a transaction and you're calling me with a problem. You always figure it out before we start or at the very beginning, and the clients never have a bad ending to a transaction. So right back at you.
I appreciate that.
Really appreciate all your help over the years.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so it's a great partnership, and we've done a lot of fun things. And I want to talk a little bit about your team, because you started out as a one-woman show, and things have changed. So up here we've got in 2015. You were the solo agent. You're the typical agent out there, and things are changing because you can't do a home inspection, write an offer, view houses, deal with appraisal shortages or challenges or home inspections. So how does the team help you? And I mean, it's record numbers. I mean, you crushed it last year.
Thanks,
amazing.
Thanks. I did not set out in 2015 to be a team. Right. In 2015, I had been fired from my job, recently divorced, and was a single mom of a 2, 4, and 6-year-old.
Wow. A lot on your plate.
A little bit, yeah. And after leaving corporate America, I decided that I was ready to work for myself. And if I worked just as hard for myself as I'd done for everybody else, that the success would come. And so it was just more of an experiment of whether or not I can really do this as a full-time job and make this into a career. And right away, all of my past experiences in lending, in marketing, everything just kind of gelled and things were really going well. So in my first year of real estate, I sold 27 homes, which is pretty great.
It's unbelievable.
And it's a blessing of growing up here, keeping in touch with people, and having that experience that really related well to real estate. So that just helped me snowball it pretty fast. And so from there, I hired my first assistant, Sarah, who's on the left of me in that picture. She was a graduate from UNH. And at the time, it wasn't so much like, oh, I got to scale this great big business. It was more of like, I need to find more time with my children. Like you were saying, I can't do everything all the time. And when you're on the road a lot, you just need some help. And so that grew into a second assistant. And when the market really started going wild due to COVID, I was also hitting my stride of being in the business for several years and my marketing efforts taking place. So we brought on some buyer's agents, and then we just really needed a whole big support staff. So last year we grew to 5 agents and 4 support staff. And it's a team effort. And what that allows you to do is support one another if, God forbid, you need a day off.
Sure. 7 days a week, you know.
And so it allows somebody to be off at showings, somebody else to be doing home inspections. And then we're constantly collaborating about what's going on in the market, right? And so even in this crazy market, 50% of what we did last year was buyers. So we are having success with buyers, and we're talking amongst each other, and we're figuring out what works. And again, I'll throw it back to our lender relationship. Sometimes it is about the fast closing, and so knowing who we can rely on and what it takes to get it done, that has really been instrumental for us. So it's really the team approach, the collaboration. I've so much enjoyed sharing with them everything I've learned, and it's been a win-win for all of us.
So one of the things that you added to your plate with the 3 children, and I know you built a house, and like you said, your day's full. You also decided to go get your broker license.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that piece.
Yeah, so, I'm a big proponent for education. I started in this business with not only a bachelor's degree, but also a master's degree in marketing. And I felt as though I'd been in the business for long enough that I should take the next step and get my broker's license. And that really happened organically as well. When you spend so much time doing it day in and day out, it didn't feel like much studying. It was definitely a brush up on all the terminology, but adding that piece of education can give all my clients this added security that not only am I, decent at negotiating contracts, but I really know the background, the laws, the expectations of us as agents in the market. So I just felt that that was important as I continue to help more and more families buy and sell houses.
So here's the $1 million question that everyone's talking about. Do I wait until spring to list? And I was recently, and I'm in the trenches with you on a regular basis, and I think Merrimack has 5 houses on the market. Bedford has like 9.
Yeah.
Is this the right time to list? Should I wait until spring? And what are our objections that we're seeing out there, and what's your recommendation?
So year over year, this time in 2021, there are almost double the amount of homes that there are for sale in New Hampshire that there are today. So just strictly on supply and demand, the answer is list now, right? If you have no intention of creating this, gorgeous curb appeal come springtime, but you think the green grass is going to sell the house, it's probably not, right?
Okay.
So just on the fact that there might only be one house in your town, maybe 5 houses, maybe you live in Manchester and there's 20, right? The fact that there's just not that much inventory, you're going to get more traction, better offers, and then terms that fit what you're looking for, right? Do you need a long closing? Do you need to rent your house back from that client? Do you need to make sure you find a suitable house that you're going to go to next? And it just, maybe you're lucky enough to get a cash offer, or maybe you're lucky enough to get no inspections. But the fact that there's so many people, clamoring for your property, you're going to get the best terms on your offer. So the yard thing is really an objection that it just doesn't apply. I know psychologically we all want our house to be as gorgeous as possible, but when you hire the right agent, we're going to highlight it, right? We're going to make sure we catch it on a sunny day, even if it is brown outside. Like, we're going to make sure that we highlight your property as best as possible, and we're really driving people on the inside and figuring out what those interior features are anyway.
So list now, don't wait. And there's ways to help people. So I know that you and I have had in your team has worked with, inspections that went sideways, suitable housing clauses, seller rent backs. There's a creative way, and right now buyers are coming and they know they're being coached to be flexible with the seller, because the seller also needs. So this is the time. Don't hesitate. Call RachNH. Get your house on the market. Do it now.
Yeah, and I put my money where my mouth is. I have an investment property and I put it on the first week of January because there's no listings, right? I certainly could have held it if I thought I was going to make more money by waiting until March or April, but I listed it because there was no competition. And really, that's going to be the best way to get your offer accepted.
I love it. Now, prepping your house for sale, I mean, in the old days, it was all kinds of stuff, but are we still doing those things? Are we still, pricing strategies are still important, and then getting the home ready? Are you coaching somebody? This is what I need to do. Listen, your house is great, but do this and this. It will not meet FHA guidelines. I know you know FHA inside now, probably better than I do, but are these the types of things that your team and you're going through?
Yeah, and this is, I think, one of the things that sets our listings apart that does make them, of course, they're all going quickly, but really quickly and with the best offers, right? I mean, let's face it, anybody could stick a for sale sign in their front yard and a buyer is going to come across. What does that buyer bring to the table? What does that offer look like? Is that really the best option for you? Or do you want to choose from 10 or 20 offers with an array of terms that are going to be best for you? So what we really do is we spend a lot of time preparing for the listing. So when my first consultation happens, I'm telling everybody, certainly throw away anything you don't want to move to your next house. Why would you keep it during the selling process? Yeah, don't pack it. Donate what you don't need. Hide whatever you are going to keep. But the biggest thing, and it's kind of very tangible for people to think of, is every box you pack before you list the house is more money in your pocket, right? We do not want a potential buyer to walk through and be like, well, that's a lovely grandfather clock, or whatever the case may be. I wonder what my modern things are going to look like in here. So we try to depersonalize it. So people are just looking at the space, maybe the furniture, and figuring out spatially if their things will work in there. But really, we want for you to pack up as much as humanly possible to streamline the sight lines. Painting is the biggest bang for your buck, right? So one of the things that I offer is kind of a interest-free loan, right? If you don't have the cash right now, I will pay for your house to be painted. You pay me back at closing, because that paint will hide an abundance of sins, right? You got 6 kids living with you, no problem. We're gonna paint it and no one's gonna know that 6 kids live there.
SpaghettiOs on the walls, stuck to the paneling, to the baseboard,
and
everywhere.
We're gonna bring your 1970s house up to 2020 standards with the right coat of paint, right? So that makes a huge difference.
I agree.
The expert opinion here is, should I screen in this porch? Should I finish the basement? Maybe. The answer is maybe. But somebody really needs to go and tell you if that's going to get your house sold or if it's going to make you any more money. Because if it doesn't make you any more money, why are you going to go to the effort? And then finally, we include a professional stager. They'll go for about a half a day. They'll move your things around. They'll redecorate with your things. Have a small stash of things to add, like the pop and the zhuzh to the photos. But for us, the staging is concluded along with drone photography. And we just feel like those things are what it takes to get a house sold in today's market.
I love it. I love it. By the way, I've never heard of any agent. I've been doing this for 19 years, 20 years now, and no one said, I'll pay to paint your house and we'll square up when you close.
I believe in it.
That's amazing.
It's just that's how much I
do.
believe in it, and it makes such an impact. And I mean, if it costs you a couple $1,000s to paint the house, or just several like really bright rooms that your kids might have picked out, but you don't have the talent to do maybe that can even cost you a few $100s, and that could literally mean the difference of thousands on the other end.
Yeah, because kids sometimes pick out colors for their rooms that aren't the best.
Of course,
for the new homeowner.
You're supposed to live in your house and enjoy it, but when it's time to sell, we gotta depersonalize.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, and this was a slide that I built, this was not her slide, but if you're thinking about listing your home, it's basically the 5 things you have to do before you list your home is call RachNH, call Rachael.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So no ifs, ands, or buts. I want to talk about a new listing. You said it's going to go live today or tomorrow. It's hot off the press. It's about to hit the market. So this is a beautiful home.
Yeah, and again, when I first went there, it's not that it wasn't a lovely home or the bones weren't great, but we pay for the drone photography. We have the stager come in, and it's a lovely house, and your house is meant to be lived in, but it didn't look like this on day one. And not everybody has that decorating sense, or even the what do I keep and what do I hide. So we just take the guesswork out of it for you, and we completely prep the house for you.
It looks like a professional came in, and you are. And your team came in and just said, here you go. I mean, the carpet and the lamps and everything's clean and it looks perfect.
It's what I love, actually, and somebody literally just texted me this last night. Your team is amazing. Every single person we met, so professional, so helpful, knows exactly what they're doing because they're meeting with a stager, they're meeting with the floor plan person, they're meeting with the drone photographer, the interior photographer, and oftentimes even our listing coordinator who's telling them all the steps that are going to happen so that you're not sitting in there in the dark going, oh geez, I wonder when my house is going to hit the market.
It's a well-oiled machine. That's a great team. One thing, when we do this again, because I'll have you back for sure, I want to have before and after so I can see that
I have so many
bedroom.
great ones.
So we could definitely do that.
And people can come to my website and look at the before and afters too.
Okay, and that's at RachNH.com. That's what I thought. So perfect. So let's talk a little bit about the community. I've been part of pretty much all of these events, and they are fun. Yeah. And I think out of them all, I know we did movie night with a million kids running around.
Yeah.
I had little footballs that they were throwing around. I thought I was going to get in trouble. It's an incredible thing that you do for, your customers in the community. And my real favorite event is the Max Apples.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about what that day means to you, and tell me a little bit about why you do it and who's involved in it.
So it really stemmed from the fact that when you're helping buyers and sellers, you're kind of working with them very intensely for about 30 days, and then they're gone, and you've grown to like them as people, and you'd like to keep in touch with them. So that's really where these events stemmed from, is keeping in touch with our clients and our customers that have become our friends that, otherwise you go on with your normal life, right? And then that got extended to our vendor partners. And then for me, I live in Auburn. I oftentimes invite as many of the people in town that I'm friendly with or put it up on the community board. So we've had several events, like you mentioned, the movie event. But, we've also had had Fisher Cats events. My
Oh,
very favorite is the family photos in the orchard. Every fall, we hire a couple professional photographers. Every family can pick their own 15-minute time slot. You come down to the orchard, a professional photographer takes your picture in this beautiful backdrop. But we don't charge you for the photo shoot, and then we don't charge you for the photos either. So
Or the apples.
Or the apples. So you also get to do a little apple picking with your family when you're done. But that week after the event, we send you a link, and you can download it through Dropbox. Probably, it all varies. 20 to 50 family photos. You can crop them. You own them. We don't own the rights. They're completely yours to do whatever you want. And the first year we did it, it was so rewarding because almost all the Christmas cards that came my way were family photos that were taken at the orchard, and so it's doubled every year. So we might need a third photographer this fall.
I love it. I know my wife is now like more planning about the outfits, putting the 2-year-old in this, and we know that this is a great day.
We love it.
Yeah, and every year the weather's been perfect.
Yeah, I know. Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. I'll find some definitely. So I want to say cheers to 2022. Your team is absolutely amazing in what you've done and how I think one of the key things is everyone can list a house and sell a house, but not every transaction is perfect. Not every transaction is smooth. There are issues with challenges with home inspections or septics or roofs. And we had railings coming down where there's a big drop off, and we're like, okay, well, I got a contractor. They'll go out and put the railing in. Let me get a septic inspector out there to fix this and understand the baffling and see if we can make those differences. And that's really, at the end of the day, the real key differences between, hey, I'm just going to put a sign in your yard, or I have a complete array of experts that can help us through these challenges.
I'm a professional problem solver.
You are.
Buyers and sellers.
So I want to thank you. So for those out there that are thinking about buying a single family home, a multifamily, you want to invest in real estate, a second home, an island home in New Hampshire or Massachusetts, call RachNH. This is her contact info, and I want to really thank you for coming in today. I think what you do is so valuable out there to the community. You are a step above the majority that are in the business.
Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to a continued great relationship.
Likewise. Thanks, Rach.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.